Hello, this is Joseph Valdi, and this is or Wolfman Joe, I should say. This is Wolfman Joe, and this is Goaltender's Corner. On this podcast, or radio show, or whatever it's called, I discuss about the fundamentals of being a goaltender. Maybe I may discuss other topics on this show pertaining to skating or whatnot, but I have to wait until my nephew, braces his presence on the show and promotes stuff pertaining to wheels. So we'll see about that. It's a work in progress. But on the show, I'm going to discuss about the helmet. The helmet is a very important part of the equipment. I remember back in the day, goaltenders never had a helmet. These players never wore helmets, but it was dangerous. I mean, they were true gladiators and true warriors. How are you going? And they were coming from a time where wearing a helmet was a sign of weakness, if you could believe that. But they had to say, hey, this is for protection, not a sign of weakness, and it is something to show your battle scars. I don't know if anything else about that was a myth or whatnot, but lo and behold, they adopted the helmet. Back in the day, their helmets, the goaltender helmets, were regular. They had a cage. They had the helmet to protect and whatnot. It was different. I mean, you look at goaltenders like Glenn Healy, they wore helmets like that. You figure their helmets were kind of like how the catcher's helmet was. And I'm going to discuss that in a minute. The catchers in baseball. Because catchers also wore a face protection and a helmet to protect. But then the 90s happened with hockey. This went into the transition period. This went into the really protective face masks. If you remember the age of Patrick Waugh, he had a mask like that. Don Beaupre, I would say, and Martin Brodeur, and some of those early goaltenders, they donned that mask. I was fortunate enough to play in that time period, not in the NHL, in youth hockey, and I donned a mask like that. I mean, it was a nice goaltender's mask. I mean, it donned many battle scars of the time, because I'll tell you, when that puck hit your face, it rattled. and it knocks some sense into you or knocks some sense out of you. I mean, that's how a goaltender's mask was. But the nature of the mask is they figured they could save lives and protect goaltenders from a lot of harm that would have happened to them had a puck hit them. But how do you make a goaltender wear a mask? Well, now it's second nature. I mean, they do it for protection, and it's part of the game. And there's they sign papers. They say, hey, you don't wear a mask. You have to wear a mask. It's mandatory. Back in the day, you had the regular players had visors or whatever, and then they had the helmet. And then now with the game, it's different because you wear a cage. That cage protects you from a lot of damage. I mean, the younger kids wear a cage. I mean, if I'm not mistaken. But a mask is a symbol of the goaltender, especially the modern day masks. Because I remember that back in the day, you try to see what a symbol of a goaltender was. Symbol of the goaltender was the mask. And then a symbol of a goaltender, hold on one second. I'm back again, but I was discussing the nature of the helmet, which is a very important part of the goaltender, because whenever they think of a goaltender in the hockey, they think of the suit of armor that they wear, the helmet. The helmet comes to mind. I remember I had a lot of cards back in the day, and some of the cards in the 90s featured the helmet of the goaltender, because that was a sign of their warriorship on ice. I mean, I was just fortunate enough, when I played, I owned one of those helmets. And, I wanted one of them, and I got one of them, and it was a part of my armor that I wore in the years that I played. How did this helmet define me? It made me a symbol of who I was. Even though back then, it made me look like the warrior on ice. Or the warrior when I played roller hockey, which I'll get into those days when I played roller hockey. But even though I didn't have any rollerblades then, I had my feet, I still played anyway. But, yeah. Again, the helmet is very important. You are watching the Goaltender's Corner. I'm your host, Wolfman Joe, and again, I'm talking about how the symbol of a goaltender is based on the importance of the protective gear of the helmet. If you get shot in the head and you don't have a helmet, you're in pain and you feel it. Because I got shot in the head when I was in the basement not paying attention. My brother wasn't paying attention. He didn't know I was there. He took a shot. hit me right in the head. I still have a dent to show. It could have been worse. I could have been damaged from that shot. So, again, goaltenders, wear that mask as a badge of honor. Have a good night or day. Take care.